Morning, this is John Chisholm, and welcome to Coffee Talk with Shaun and John. Now, unfortunately, right now, Shaun is not on the phone, not on the, he's not with us right now due to the fact that he's on the phone. We are extremely busy recruiters, and that is absolutely positively true. Shaun got stuck on the phone. We tried to start on time earlier. It didn't work out. I kind of started and stopped. So here we go again. We're going to start from the beginning. Today's topic is all about goals. We're coming to an end of the year. Absolutely, positively, we're coming to the end of the year, and the reality is that we have got to start setting goals for the next year. We got to start vision casting for the next year. Now, a lot of people are really, really good at setting, setting goals. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a lot of people that I know that are extremely, they get right down to it. And as I was sharing just a moment earlier, we have at our company right now at GPAC, we are one of these companies. We are this company that we've been in business for about 35 years, and we absolutely positively know beyond a shadow of a doubt what it is for each person here at this company as far as what they need to do in their day-to-day in their day-to-day life at this job, beyond a shadow of a doubt what they need to do to be successful at this job. So in other words, we've got it broken down. So we're an outbound company, and without going into detail about what we do and how we do it, we always talk to, when we're talking to candidates or we're talking to companies, we explain our process exactly what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if a person is going to be successful in the recruiting field, they need to, and again, I don't want to give away any trade secrets here, they need to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it starts with outbound activity. That's the number one thing that it starts with, is outbound activity. And outbound activity means that we are contacting candidates and or companies on a basis of anywhere from 60 to 80 outbound contacts in a day. We know that if we make anywhere from 60 to 80 outbound contacts in a day, and we know that we are going to have a minimum of 20 live conversations. Now, out of those 20 live conversations, long story short, if we do the activity we don't want to break down exactly what the activity is, but if we do the activity that we're looking to do, if we make outbound contacts with the right people, we will have a certain number of conversations, and these conversations will wind up being in an interview process, at least an initial interview process. And we know that if we get a certain number of interviews set up, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that out of those number of interviews, there's going to be one job offer, and there's going to be one job acceptance. We know this. So we know that if we have a X number of outbound contacts every single day, that we're going to have an interview lined up X number of days a week. If we have this, it gets broken down. We know after 32 years in the business, we know exactly what it takes to succeed. Now, there's all kinds of little things inside of the recipe that it takes to succeed. But what I'm trying to say here is this: goal setting is very, very important. And you need to set your goal at what it is you need to do to be successful. Now, before I came here, I never even thought about goals. I'm just giving a little bit of a personal insight here, trying to fill the time, so to speak. But here's the thing about goal setting that's so important. There's 5 things, and we're going to be talking about it in the webinar that I'm putting on December 21st. There's 5 things that are true about how goals affect our daily lives and our daily tasks. One, setting goals provides a sharp sense of focus. Now, I'm not just talking about short-term goals, I'm talking about long-term goals. So let me ask you a question, business owner. Let me ask you a question, employee or worker. Have you ever sat down and thought about what your 5-year goal is? 5 years from now, if your life was exactly, paint me a picture. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? 5 years. What are you doing in 5 years if your life is exactly as you want it to be? What is, if you're a business owner, what is your company's total production at the end of that time? What does your company look like? What does your time look like at the company? If you're an employee, if you're a worker in 5 years, what is your title? What is your job title? And in 5 years, what does your day-to-day look like? 5 years, what does your work-life balance look like? In 5 years, what does your income look like in 5 years? And what are you doing? And what's giving you energy? What are you excited about in 5 years? Start there and then work backwards. Break it down to 1 year. Break it down. If I am going to, at the end of this year, at the end of 2022, I want my personal life to look like this. I want this kind of work-life balance. I want this kind of relationship with my spouse, if you've got a spouse. I want this type of relationship with my significant other. I want this type of relationship with my children. I want my relationship with my children to look like this. I want to go, you can even break it down to, I want to go to X number. This is what work-life balance looks like. I want to make sure that I'm at every one of my kids' ball games, every one of my kids' dance recitals, every one of my kids' music recitals. I want to be part of my children's lives, and this is what I want it to look like. How do you get there? I want my weight to be X at the end of the year. So lots of people that's the biggest one. Lots of people set resolutions at the beginning of the year. They say, oh, I want my weight to be, I want to lose X number of pounds. And what do they say? I don't even remember what it is, but I think most resolutions are broken by, especially diet resolutions are broken by the end of February. For sure by the end of February. They don't make it through the year. Why is that? Because people set goals. They set these big goals that they want. I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, they don't get there. Why? Because they don't set goals. So what does goal setting do for us? What does goal setting produce in us? How do we get from point A to point B? How do we get to the life that we want? The life that we want in 5 years, the life that we want at the end of this year. Shoot, the life that we want at the end of this month and at the end of this day. How do we get there? We get there by setting goals. How? Okay, first and foremost, I don't want to give away the entire farm. I don't want to give away the webinar, and I don't want to give away all of the tips that I'm going to give in our class, in our Market Me class, and in our Building a High Performance Culture class. This teaching is part of those classes. It's part of the coaching that I do. So I'm not going to give it all away, but I'm going to tell you right now, how in the world does setting goals and making goals for yourself, how is it going to improve your personal and professional life? Number one, setting goals provides a sharp sense of focus. That's a huge big one right there. For me, I know that every day in my recruiting business and in my coaching business, I know that I have to make a certain number of outbound contacts to bring awareness as to what I'm doing, and what I'm looking to do. So I know that if I am going to make the income goal that I want to make, I know that every single day I must make X number of outbound contacts to be successful in hitting my goal. And it provides that focus for me I must do this on a daily basis, on a minute by minute basis. This is what I must do. Now, I've been doing the recruiting and coaching. I've been doing it just about 5 years now. And I started doing this about toward the middle of my first year in recruiting. I started doing this very, very succinctly. I started putting it into practice. Okay. And so it brings me a sharp set of focus. Now, it even brings me to a sharp set of focus in my day-to-day planning. That's the other thing. My goals focus my planning. Okay. What am I going to do today? So at the beginning of every single day, starting first thing in the morning, whenever it is that I get up and hit the shower and get out of the shower, have my first cup of coffee, I do the same thing in the same way every single day. And if it's not producing results, I tweak it a little bit. But this daily habit that I have every single day, this provides focus for me. And the daily habit is surrounded around finding prospects for my particular niche, my particular market, finding those prospects. How do I do it? I'm not going to tell you that. If you want that information, you're going to have to pay the fee to get that information. This is free information to those watching live, and that's about all I'm going to give you. But there's a specific process that I follow every morning that is produced in my life, in my annually a six-figure income that is a very comfortable income. And by the way, I've worked since I was 12 years old, and until I turned 50, when I started working here in the recruiting firm, when I started doing some coaching and executive coaching. Until that time, I had never made six figures. Now, that's not exactly true. I had made six figures with my insurance company. I made six figures, but 90% of it went out the door between paying employees, paying taxes, doing all that stuff. I never took home let's just put it this way. I never personally took home an income of six figures until I started working for myself, working for this company, GPAC. So it provides a sharp sense of focus. Okay, so my goal is centered around my why, and if I want to get to that goal, if I want to fulfill my why, that picture that I've painted 5 years, 1 year, and this month, that's what I focus on every single day. And I use this methodology every single morning to get me to that place. And it's been successful every year that I've used it. And so I continue using it with little bits of tweaks, a little bit of testing. I reevaluate my goals and make sure that those goals, I go back and I look at that 5-year goal and say, yep, that's still the same. That my why is centered around that goal. This is what I want my life to look like in 5 years. I'm now down to the 3-year plan. Now down to the 3 more year plan. Oh no! At the end of this year, I'll be at the two more year plan, and I'm on track to getting where I want to be. So if I wanted to speed that up a little bit, if I wanted to make it 1 more year, goals, vision, goals, why am I doing what I'm doing? That's going to help me get to the place where I need to be able to hit that target where I want to be, what I want my life to look like in 5 years. So then here's the next thing. Setting goals allows you to measure your progress. That's the second way that goals impact your life, impact your business. So I'm meticulous at this, and so is my company. The company that I work with, GPAC, is meticulous at this. Okay, is that we know beyond a shadow of a doubt we can measure our progress. Okay, we can look at the dollar amount that we produce, and the dollar amount that we produce. We can go backwards and we can see on a consistent basis, people at that dollar level are doing these things on a day-to-day basis, are doing these things on a consistent day-to-day basis. And so we're able to measure our progress in that way. So what does that look like for you? What does that look like for your business? I have no idea. What are your KPIs that allow you to measure that progress? Okay. One of your goals is going to be a production goal or an income goal in your business. And so you have to measure KPIs. You have to measure KPI is a key performance indicator. You have to measure those things on a consistent basis to be able to do what you do. And if you're hitting those KPIs, you should hit that goal. It allows you to measure your progress. You did this thing. You did this thing today. You made, for me, again, you made this many outbound contacts today. You talked to this many people live today. As a result, you set up how many interviews today on the recruiting side. So therefore, if I hit all those numbers working backwards, I should. Working forwards, if I hit those numbers consistently, then the result should be this at a minimum. So it helps you to measure your progress. And by the way, that motivates people. That motivates me. If I see that I'm doing what I'm doing, I don't sit back on it. But if I see what I'm doing, if I'm hitting those indicators, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that at the end of the year, if I do those things consistently, day in and day out, I'm going to have the income that I want to have. Next, third thing about setting goals that's really, really cool is that it blocks distractions and provides productive boundaries. What does that mean? It helps you say yes to the things that are important. It helps you say no to the things that are not important. So hey, it's a beautiful day outside today. And we want to go and my buddies call me up and they say, hey, John, let's go golfing today at 3:00. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if I am at a point right now at the point of this week where I have not met my preliminary goals, it's Thursday today. And if I have not met my goals, my minimum goals by that time that we're supposed to go out golfing, I know that daily goal needs to be hit before I go out golfing. I'm not going to go golfing that day if that daily goal is not hit. That's just my reality. I'm not giving myself a break. You say, oh, what's the big deal? One day. Well, one day becomes 2 days, becomes 3 days. Here in South Dakota, if it's sunny outside, and minimum of 45-degree temperature in December, I can guarantee you that that's where I'm going to want to be, is on the golf course. I have to block out that distraction. I have to be able to say no to things that are going to negatively affect me reaching my goals. And again, that goal has to be crystal clear in my sight, that I have to have clarity around that goal. And I have to be able to know that my goal is very, very important. That long-term goal is only going to be met if I meet daily, day by day, short-term goals. So this is a huge deal with a lot of people. Is there anything wrong with going golfing? No, there's nothing wrong with going golfing, but it takes away from my plan. It takes away from my long-term goal, my long-term plan, the way that I want my life to look after 5 years, in 5 years, the way I want my business to look in 5 years, the way I want my personal relationship, my relationship with my wife, 5 years, my relationship with my children, 5 years. Is that going to distract and take away from my goal, or is it going to enhance my goal? Okay. Well, now if that person's calling up is saying, hey, is a long-term client of mine that's hired a lot of people from me, and that person wants to go golfing to discuss potential future hires, or if it's a coaching client of mine wants to go golfing with me. And I do this, by the way. He or she wants to go golfing with me, and they want to talk a little bit of coaching, a little bit of one-to-one coaching. I'm more than happy to do that, because that adds to my goal. But setting goals blocks those distractions. It blocks those things, that shiny piece of paper that's over here, especially with salespeople, especially with entrepreneurs. That shiny piece of paper sometimes distracts us. We don't want to do that. And we have to provide boundaries. I know that, let me just use another example from the recruiting world. I know that between the hours of the waking hours, the business hours of 7:00 Central Time, 7:00 a.m. Central Time, until 3:00 or 4:00 Central Time, with an hour for lunch, I should be making outbound contacts. Outbound contacts in my industry are to people that are at work, and those are working hours. So I need to be making outbound contacts while people are at work, doing their profession. That's what I need to do. So so I have a schedule on a day-to-day basis that helps me meet my goal. If I've met my goal, if I've met my primary goal by the end of the morning, I don't sit back and relax. I go for a secondary goal or a third, and it doesn't always break down. It doesn't always break down exactly day to day. So I've got primary goals, I've got secondary goals day by day to help me reach my ultimate goal. Now, if I reach my goal by Thursday of the week, can I take a day off? Absolutely, if I want to. But see, here's the thing that they don't tell you about goals. Goals do one thing for people when you hit the goals. If you've never been a salesperson, you probably never understood this, or if you've never been a salesperson, never been an entrepreneur, you probably don't understand this. But the thing is that the biggest rush of endorphins, it really is, it's addictive. When you make a goal, whatever that goal is, your brain releases dopamine. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel satisfied. It gives you, it's a reward, pleasure that feeds into your brain. And it's really quite literally addictive. That rush, that feeling is addictive. So when I make a sale, or when I place somebody, or when I help somebody get an aha moment in my coaching industry, that for me gives me pleasure. The brain chemistry, it gives me pleasure. It gives me excitement. And that feeling is addictive. It's like it's like a drug. It's like an addictive drug. And here's the thing: if you're a salesperson, if you're a person that is in the business of sales, you make your income on commission or whatever like that. You understand this because you get those high highs, but you also get those low lows. It's the hardest, most tedious thing to go in and go out day to day. And what I have to tell you is that the way that you reach those high highs and stay out of those low lows is by consistency, and by consistently blocking those distractions, consistently having those boundaries, and doing the things that you know that are going to make you successful, and avoiding those things that you know are going to make you unsuccessful. Fourth, I promise I'll get there. Fourth is the number 4 one is setting goals combats procrastination. Now, the literal enemy of making your goals, the literal enemy of getting to the point where you are going to be successful in reaching your goals, the enemy is procrastination. That idea that you're going to do it tomorrow. You're going to do it some other time. That is the absolute enemy of reaching your goals. Here, let me give you an example of a big one, and this is more on the personal side. But before I found this goal setting, which I'm doing on a regular basis now, which I literally every week I go back and I re-examine my goals. Literally every week I sit down with my coach and we make a new set of goals for the following week that fits into the big picture goal. So yes, I'm a coach that has a coach. And if you have a coach that doesn't have a coach, you need to fire that coach. That's called hypocrisy. If you believe that it's a life-changing, altering experience, you need to have a coach that has a coach. So anyway, that's beside the point. But procrastination, what procrastination does is puts off till tomorrow what you should be doing today, or puts off to next hour what you should be doing right now. It is the enemy, really literally is the enemy. Also, again, I'll give you the illustration. Your diet and exercise. You get up out of bed and you're hungry right away when you get up out of bed, and you know that's a bad time. Well, I'm going to start my diet tomorrow. Today I'm going to go ahead and have this sweet roll or this donut or something like that for breakfast. That's what I'm going to do because I'm hungry when I get out of bed. But setting goals is setting goals. A specific goal, a specific time period, time measured goal. You know that you want to lose 20 pounds by the end of March. And in order to do so, you need to lose by the end of March, you need to lose about a pound to 2 pounds per week in order to be able to reach that goal. In order to reach that big long-term goal of 20 pounds by the end of March, you need to start right now. You need to start today. You need to start drinking water and not pop. You need to start drinking unsweetened tea instead of sweetened tea. You need to start eating whatever your diet contains. But like for me, it's low. It's a high mono fat and low poly fat and good fats. Good fats that are found in real foods. So how you do that is you make the goal and you don't procrastinate. You don't put it off till tomorrow. A lot of people do put it off till tomorrow, and you put it off till tomorrow and then tomorrow and then tomorrow, and then you lose out on your goal of losing weight, because by the time the next tomorrow it's the end of March and you've been putting it off the whole time. It's the same thing in business. Don't put off till tomorrow what needs to be done today. Our business, the recruiting business that I'm a part of, GPAC, we have a saying that it surrounds around urgency. Our whole entire day is surrounded around urgency and how fast we can get stuff to market. That is what our mantra is. We get up out of bed. I literally do jump out of bed in the morning, and the first thing I'm doing, I'm hitting the ground running. I am either getting a candidate to market or finding a candidate to market. That's what I'm doing every single day, and I'm breathlessly trying to attack that every single day. That's the attitude that I bring, and I don't have until next hour to start doing it. I need to do it right now. I need to do it today. When I find a great candidate, within 20 minutes, I have already sent an email to all my companies. After 20 minutes, I've already started making phone calls to all of my companies that I work with in my market. That's what I do. I do it with urgency. So don't procrastinate. Don't put stuff off. If you have a goal, it's going to combat that procrastination. If you have a goal to lose 20 pounds by the end of March, you have to start today. If you don't start today, you're just not going to accomplish that goal. In fact, you have to start with that first meal of the day immediately. Okay? So that's what goal setting stops that procrastination. Last but not least, and this is the biggest thing, setting goals motivates you. I am so motivated to get up out of bed every day because I know what my income goals are. I'm motivated to get up out of bed every day because I know what my relationship goals are. I'm excited to get out of bed every day because I know what my spiritual goals are. I'm excited to get up out of bed every day and because I am very, very task oriented. I want to do these tasks. I want to get these tasks done every single day. If I don't get these tasks done in a specific order every single day, then I can't reach my goal, and I'm not satisfied. It doesn't make me happy. And again, the motivation comes again by knowing what that high feels like, and also knowing what that low feels like, and that dopamine that gets released when I've made a goal, when I've accomplished a goal, even if it's a short-term goal. When in the recruiting world, when we set an appointment, set an interview appointment with somebody, that's the exciting portion of my day, because I know that if I do just that every single day, I know I'm going to make money. If I do it once a day, I'm going to make a certain amount of money. If I do it twice a day, every day, I'm going to make make more money. If I do it 3 times a day, every day, I'm going to make even more money still. And besides making money, which is nice, I am changing people's lives for the better, which is nice also. So what is it in your business? What is it in your personal life let's start with business. What is it in your business that you need to do every single day on a consistent day in and day out basis that's going to help you reach your goal? That you know it's going to help you reach your goal. You got to dig in and figure out what that is. What's that KPI what's that 1 or 2 or 3 key performance indicators that you need to hit every single day to make that long-term goal? What is that key performance indicator? What is that indicator in your business, whatever it is, that if you do it day in and day out consistently, you are going to grow your business into the business that you want it to be? What is it in your personal life that you need to do every single day? Start with that. That you know is going to make your life, your personal life, better. You know, for some people, if you're married, that is maybe it's communicating with your spouse. Maybe it's having a nice breakfast conversation or a nice supper conversation with your spouse every single day. If you're not married, or if you're a spiritual person, for me, you know, reading the Bible and praying on a day-to-day basis, I know that's a goal, so to speak. If my goal is to be spiritually attuned, then I need to do on a daily basis consistently. I need to open up my Bible and I need to pray on a daily basis. If that's my goal, okay? I'm not laying that on anybody else. I'm just saying, for me, that's important. I know that if I work out in the morning, or that if I go golfing in the morning, which in the summertime, that's what I do, early morning. If I go golfing, I know that helps me meet my goals, because my goal is to stay physically fit, physically in shape. And also, I thrive on competition. I love competition. So that helps me meet that social goal as well as that health goal. These are all things I need to do day by day. What is it that you need to do every day to make your life, your individual personal life, that bleeds over into your business life? What is it that you need to do every single day that helps you meet your overall big picture goal? That's the last thing that we talk about, because one of your goals should be balance. It should be that work-life balance. A lot of people are so goal-driven as far as success at work that they forget about success at home. They forget about success in their personal life. And this is how, and I know this has been true of me, I can get so locked in setting and completing and making goals at work that I forget about the goals that I have at home. There are many, many goals that we need to have, and that's where that 5-year plan comes in. There's business goals, there's personal goals, there's spiritual goals, there's things that feed relationship goals, there's things that feed into that big picture, long-term goal picture. And what do you need to do day in and day out to reach those goals? You know, if it's relationship, you need to talk to your significant other. If it's spiritual, you need to talk to your God, and learn more about your God and walk with your God, stay in alignment with your God. And if it's business goals, you need to do these KPIs. You need to make sure you do these every single day. So coming down to the end of our time here this morning, but what I want to do is I want to invite you now, on the invitation here, on the invitation, I did provide a link. I am doing a full, I don't know if it'll last an hour or not, probably with questions and stuff like that. I'm doing an hour-long webinar on the 21st of December, 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time, on Goal Setting 101. How do you set the goals? I talked all about how the benefits of setting goals. Well, these are the benefits of setting goals. Well, how do you set goals? How do you set goals, and how do you meet your goals? And so I want to invite you to come to that. I think it's very, very important, that especially at this time of year. I mean, look, everybody's going to do their New Year's resolutions, right? Well, there's your New Year's resolution should fit within your goal, your health goal. If one of your goals for 2022, if you're going to set a resolution for losing weight, that's awesome. Now, don't just say, I want to lose 20 pounds. See, this goal setting webinar is going to help us do that. Don't say, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds by this date. That's better. That's better to say that. I want to lose 20 pounds by that date because my long-term goal is to be healthier and happier and to live longer. That's an even better goal. I want to lose 20 pounds by March 30th or 31st, March 30th, the end of March. I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of March. And the way I'm going to do that on a daily basis is I'm going to only eat this number of calories and I'm going to go work out for 1 hour every single day. Wow, that's getting really, really specific. So my seminar helps us break down big goals into little pieces. My seminar helps you to make goals that are very specific, that are very measurable, and that are reasonable and attainable. That's a pattern that you're going to learn. And if you put it into practice, I promise you, you're going to meet your goals. So I thank you for coming in and being part of this, being part of my presentation this morning, Coffee Talk with Shaun and John. I'm sorry the good-looking guy Shaun was not here, part of our broadcast. But I want to give you that opportunity, and I think that it's really, really important that you find yourself, if you can, with me on December 21st. And we will be talking about goals. So whatever you're doing today, I want to sign off by saying, have a great day. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll be back next week to talk about. We'll probably talk a little bit more about goals. But anyway, till then.